Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chisco Gaming, and in today's video, sponsored by the makers of Civilization Heirs and Allies, we're going to talk about the historic skills that show up in Season 3, because they are incredibly powerful, and, well, we'll do a couple things. I'll talk about which ones I got, I'll talk about which ones I think are the top 3, and we'll go over all of them so that if you're prepping for this season, you know what's coming your way. Now, if you haven't already subscribed, consider doing so. And if you haven't downloaded Civilization Heirs and Allies, you can use my sponsored link in the description to go download the game. Thank you again to the makers of the game for sponsoring this video. So let's get a look at each of the historic skills. We'll read through them. I'll try to go kind of quickly. And we'll talk about which ones are the top 3. Now, big picture, a historic skill, the way this works is you exchange heroes to unlock a skill, which is pretty powerful. I don't know why my internet's not stable right now. But, okay, anyways, we're back. We're back. Thanks, Internet. So, first skill, Formidable Force from the Siege of Orleans. Joan, Wallace, Charlemagne. I don't have any Joans, and when I do, I'm not giving them away. But, you know, if I did give it away, Formidable Force, what does it do? Be the max effect here. It's an engaged skill. Targets 2 ally heroes, trigger rate 100%, range of 3. During the first 2 turns, grant 2 ally heroes silence immunity. This in and of itself, for Formidable Force, is really cool. To get silence immunity is a big deal. So if you're vulnerable to silence, here we are. Something that is major. Increase the trigger rate of active engaged skills by 10%. Also increase both engage, attack, pierce, and engage in pierce by 20%. If you're wondering what pierce is, I'll read it here. When dealing attack damage, ignore a certain amount of the target's attack damage taken reduction. Or int damage taken reduction. Alright? Now, during this period, the ally heroes can't use their basic attacks. Kind of a big deal. So, there's more text here. I don't need to read all of it. The point of this skill is in an army that is at risk of being silenced and gets shut down, in an army where you want to trigger your active skills more frequently, this is going to be a banger. Up next, the Deep Hypnosis from the Zhongzhou campaign. Requires Meng Tian, Napoleon, and Miyamoto. What are we doing? Active skill, hits 2 enemies, trigger rate of 20%. You prep for 1 turn, and then disorient 2 random enemies. Or silence them for 1 turn. Now, disorient's really powerful. This makes it so you're applying your effects indiscriminately or attacking indiscriminately. And exhausting them, trigger rate of 40% on the next round. This, however, still is not making my list of top skills. Not in the top 3. So let's continue on here. Reconstruct Athens. Gets you exposed motive. Requires Pericles, Alex, and YSS. Who is the piece of the puzzle I don't have here? Exposed motive. This, at max level, hits 2 enemy heroes. It's an active skill. Trigger rate of 40%. Deal attack damage to 2 enemy heroes 1 time, and increase their combat attack damage taken. So in a damage control army, seems like this would be a fit. Then deal attack damage to 2 enemy heroes 1 additional time, greatly reduce their next single target damage dealt. Damage of each hit is calculated independently for each target. I don't know why this skill gives me like Sun Tzu vibes. Maybe that's not the right way to think about it. But it's making it so that you're going to take less damage because you're debuffing them. And you deal damage, which is really nice. But not my top 3. Now this next one I own. I traded in a copy of Tommy, Dido, and David all together to get Elite Force. This, in my opinion, is one of the top 3. Not because I own it, although I do. Let's talk about what it does. It's an engage skill. 3 ally heroes benefit. When all 3 heroes have different units, increase the captain's basic attack range by 1, reduce the center's engaged damage taken by 20%, and have the Vanguard protect all allies during the first 3 turns. This gives me a City Garrison skill vibe. City Garrison's like one of the best skills. So good. I have this deployed now on Oda, who's the Vanguard in the best lineup for me in this season so far. And that is Zhang Bogo plus Sun Tzu plus Oda. So I think this is one of the top 3 skills you can get from the historic skills, which is why money where my mouth is. I actually went and got it given that I could. All right, now this brings us to Hammer and Anvil. Also a skill I own. Arthur Wellesley, El Cid, and Sandana had to hit the bin in order to get this skill. I do have more Sandana, but the others I'm out of. And let's talk about what Heroic Stride does. I own it, but it's not one of the top 3, in my opinion. Heroic Stride. It's an engage skill. Targets 3 allied heroes. Increase engage damage dealt by allied cavalry heroes' active skills. So if you're using a bunch of active skills that do engage damage, here we are. I think in the right comp, this would be really cool. I got some of these in part because it's like, I mean, I assume they'll come back at some point, but like, will they be available again? I don't know. As it stands now, we've got like seasonal heroes that show up. It's not even seasonal. They're limited time heroes, and then they're not available again. So I don't know. I picked it up. Maybe at some point I'll be using it. I'm not now. I don't think it's one of the top 3, but I did think it was a really cool skill. I mean, you could argue it's definitely slightly suboptimal to pick up a thing that you're not going to use right away, but from a collection standpoint, I wanted to have it in the arsenal. All right, so Battle of Thermopylae gets you Whirlwind Storm. Whirlwind Storm, not one of my top 3. Anyways, let's get a look at this. Whirlwind Storm. Let's talk about what it does. Oh, by the way, who do I have to get rid of? Leo, Spartacus, Harold. All right, Leonidas. Leo and I are on a first-name basis. Increase damage dealt by allied infantry heroes' basic attacks by 50% and grant them splash. Now you're doing AoE damage, baby. And when landing basic attacks, you'll 50% of the original target's damage. This is telling you what it does. When landing basic attacks, you'll 50% of the original target's damage to one hero nearby. Really cool. Would love to be able to put this into an army that's doing a bunch of extra basic attacks. I don't have it. Would need another copy of Leo to go get that thing. Which brings us to Steady Calm. Not on my top 3. Gilgamesh, Queen Elizabeth, and Sun Tzu are the trade-ins here. I'm not excited to get rid of Gilgamesh. So we'll see. But anyways, if we get a look at what this does, we view the max effect. Active skill, 2 ally heroes, trigger rate of 40%. You reduce 2 ally heroes' combat damage taken by 20%. Increase their combat damage dealt. Pretty cool. Supportive skill makes you tankier and do more damage. Seems solid all around. Finally, max power. This is really cool. This is one of the top 3 skills for overall, in my opinion, top 3 skills this season. And this requires you to have Ryu, Cleo, and George Washington to trade. Let's read what it does. Max power when maxed. Increase own attack by 30. By the way, this is an active skill, targets yourself, trigger rate of only 40%, range of 4. Increase your own attack by 30. You gain the following effects. When receiving attack damage, you deal int damage to the attacker 1 time. When receiving int damage, you deal attack damage to the attacker 1 time. Can trigger up to 4 times last 2 turns. This seems like it'd work really well in like a scaling army, like when you're taking lots of hits and you get stronger, right? Like the damage just ramps here. I think this is one of the strongest skills. And in fact, I think I misspoke earlier. Actually, Formidable Force is, in my opinion, one of the top 3 skills. In my notes, I wrote Formidable Strike because I'm a noob. Yes, Formidable Force is one of the top 3. This is actually, the anti-silence is really, really good. This is very powerful. Anyways, you enjoyed the vid, throw a like on here, subscribe. I am definitely looking forward to learning more about all of the things that I've collected in this season. And are available to collect, I should say, in Season 3. Because we had a easier season, I would say. And so I personally have not had as much fighting to go and do. But I'll be on the lookout for results. So drop a comment as well on this video. If you got any cool insights or thoughts on what you think your top skills are in this season, or where you'd use these things. for maximum effect. Thank you again to the makers of Civilization Heroes and Allies for sponsoring this video, and until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.